Yes, go ahead.
Welcome, everyone. I am Teresa Paulette, MADD's Victim Services Specialist, and I want to thank you for joining us today for our annual Taiwan On for Safety kickoff. Most of you might know it as our Red Ribbon campaign. We're grateful to Dietrich Insurance and First Hawaiian Bank for sponsoring the campaign this year. MADD Hawaii launches Taiwan On for Safety before the holiday season because there are usually more gatherings, parties, and festivities that include alcohol, which increases the risk of impaired driving. We expect gatherings and parties will be fewer this year, but if alcohol is involved, the risk remains. For over 30 years, MADD Hawaii has been asking drivers to tie a red ribbon onto their vehicle as a commitment to be a non-drinking driver during the holidays and all year. The red ribbon is a visible symbol of that commitment and a reminder to the other drivers on the road that if we all make this commitment, there will be no more victims of impaired driving. 2020 has been very challenging for all of us. One would think with the shutdown of bars and restaurants and fewer miles driven for the last 8 months that there would be fewer crashes and fewer fatalities. But unfortunately, speeding has dramatically increased and the deadly crashes and deaths continue. Oahu has not seen a decline in traffic fatalities compared to last year. The recent report from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration showed a prevalence of alcohol or other drugs in 64.7% of drivers involved in fatal or serious injury crashes during the pandemic. This is up from 50.8% before the pandemic. It's more important than ever to highlight traffic safety as drunken drug drivers are an ever-present danger on our roadways. If alcohol is involved, plan ahead. Have a designated driver, call a taxi, Uber, or Lyft. Smart choices to keep the community and you and your families safe. We invited the mayor, highway safety partners, and first responders to join us today as they have witnessed the devastating consequences of impaired driving. We want to give special thanks to the first responders as they endanger their lives to keep our lives safe. Mayor Caldwell was unable to join us today, but he sent his remarks on behalf of the city and county in the following video.
We're entering into a very different type of holiday season this coming Thanksgiving, Christmas period. It's not 2019, it's 2020, and we're fighting a pandemic. And it's critical that we keep each other safe, but particularly during the holiday season, because people tend to drink more. And we don't add tragedy to the tragedy we're already facing with hundreds of deaths in the state of Hawaii from COVID-19. We want to avoid more deaths because people drink and drive. And therefore my request as mayor of the city and county of Honolulu, the island of Oahu with almost 1 million people, is if you drink, don't drive. And if you drive, don't drink. And a good reminder of this is we say Taiwan on here, don't drink, don't drive, this red ribbon. I'm now tying November 10th on the Honolulu City car, CNC1, this red ribbon, to remind those who drive behind CNC1 that it's important to remind yourself, don't drink if you drive, and if you drive, don't drink. We do that, we can celebrate this holiday in a safe way, but also just make sure we come out of this pandemic with less tragedy, not more. Thank you, mahalo and aloha. Have a safe holiday season.
Mahalo to the mayor for his commitment to safety. Next is Acting Captain James Slater, Traffic Department, and he will say a few words on behalf of the Honolulu Police Department.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting us. We always appreciate the invite to this event. It's always great to raise awareness about impaired driving and just bad driving in general. You know, we all know impaired driving is a serious issue that plagues our roadways. HPD has been combating that for many years along with the other first responders. Over the last 5 years, HPD has issued approximately 200,000 citations for speeding, and we've effected over 20,000 arrests for impaired driving. Tragically, Oahu suffered an average of 10 fatalities every holiday season over the last 5 years. Impairment and/or speed have been factors in over half of those. Over a decade ago, HPD stopped using the term accident. We took that out of our reports. All of our officers, they used the word collision. And there's a reason for that, because these incidents are avoidable. It's not an accident. They could have been prevented. And when you're reckless or you're impaired when you get behind the wheel, it's no longer just a collision, it's a crime. And the message for the people out there that think that impaired driving is a victimless crime, they've obviously never seen firsthand the devastation that an impaired driver can cause. You know, over the last few years, I've seen so many innocent lives lost. And these people are just doing what we all do every day, out walking their dog, out for some exercise, just driving to and from home. And then senselessly, out of nowhere, an impaired driver comes and just takes their life in a blink of an eye. Really, it can no longer be socially acceptable. We as a society or as a community need to get together and stand up and say, we're not gonna allow this anymore. It can't be the norm to say, oh, you know what, I just had a few, or I just smoked a little, or, you know, the prescription drugs, it doesn't really affect me that much. Any amount of intoxicant in your bloodstream can affect your ability to operate a vehicle. And we really want to stress and get the message out there that even if you're not an offender, you need to step up and you need to be the voice to tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, when you know that they shouldn't be getting behind the wheel, you need to step up and stop. Keep them from getting behind the wheel. You could be saving their life or your own family or somebody else innocent on the roadway. You know, it's sad that we're not out to see folks at Tamarind Park this year. It's always great to see everybody and all the supporters. But we have the red ribbons on all of our cars. And we love to see all the vehicles out there in public with it on as well. It just shows a real good sign of support from the community that everybody's against this impaired driving epidemic. So thanks for inviting us today. We really appreciate it. If you folks want any other statistics or any other information about some traffic information, you can always go to honolulupd.org and just click on the traffic division page. But thank you for inviting us, and we really appreciate it. Please drive safely, everybody. Please don't drive impaired. And together, if we make a conscious effort to ride, walk, and drive responsibly and with aloha, we'll have a safe holiday season and beyond. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Acting Captain Slater. Captain Thomas Inouye, Fire Inspector, will speak on behalf of the Honolulu Fire Department.
Hi, thank you for inviting us to this event. So driving under influence is a completely preventable crime in Hawaii. 30% traffic fatalities in 2018 involved alcohol, which is higher than the national average of 29%, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Association. Serious and sometimes fatal accidents occur when someone drives while under the influence. Impaired drivers may be their own victims. Due to alcohol-related crashes, 10,511 people died nationwide in 2018. The closure of bars and nightclubs due to the 2019 novel COVID-19 has not stopped alcohol-related driving tragedies on Oahu. The HFD joined Honolulu's other first responders to assist during 2 recent incidents. On September 3rd, 2020, an 80-year-old pedestrian in Kailua died to injuries from an impaired driver hitting him with a mid-sized truck. The 57-year-old driver was arrested for negligent homicide in the first degree and operating a vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant. On September 6, 2020, speed and alcohol contributed to a driver who crossed into oncoming traffic, veered off the roadway, and was ejected from the vehicle after it rolled over several times in Wailua. The driver did not survive. To date, the Honolulu Fire Department responded to 887 emergency calls for motor vehicle incidents. The HFD provides aid at vehicle collisions through medical treatment, extrication from crashed vehicles, and other emergency support. The HFD provided medical aid in 315 incidents for vehicle collisions involving other vehicles or pedestrians. The HFD also takes on the grim task of cleaning up after a collision. Alcohol poisoning from drinking too much too fast leads to other dangers such as low blood pressure, asphyxiation, seizures from low blood sugar, hypothermia from a drop in body temperature, brain damage, irregular or fast heartbeat, and cardiac arrest in some cases. A combination of these conditions lead to death. The HFD urges everyone to prevent an impaired driving in our communities. It is more critical than ever to promote and maintain a culture of safety. Hospitals need every available resource while fighting the COVID-19. The HFD is honored to join MADD in its efforts to prevent further tragedies and proudly supports its Taiwan On for Safety holiday campaign. Stay safe during this holiday season.
Thank you so much, Fire Inspector. Chief Jim Ireland will speak on behalf of the Honolulu Emergency Medical Services.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is James Ireland. I'm the Chief of Emergency Medical Services in Honolulu. I first started working on an ambulance over 30 years ago, and often when I first started would work the holidays because at the time I was single and we volunteered for these shifts. And we couldn't get through a holiday season without some tragedy somewhere, an impaired driver killing themselves or severely injuring themselves, or even worse, other people. And sometimes it's not just one person, it's multiple people in another car or in the same car. And again, like the others have said, it's completely unavoidable, completely avoidable. So these are not accidents. These happen because someone makes a decision not to get a designated driver, not to call Uber, not to call Lyft. And really today, with the ease of getting rides through these smartphone apps, there's really no excuse anymore. And there never was an excuse, but even more so now to drive impaired. And I thank Matt again for having this every holiday season, because my wish some point is just we do not have any of these tragedies, that we can get through a holiday season without a fatality. You know, EMS basically on a daily basis goes to collisions, some of which are related to impaired driving with alcohol, drugs, sometimes also distracted driving with a cell phone. And we go with our partners in the police department and the fire department, and again, have to pick up the broken bodies, have to tell family members of tragedies, try to save lives. And sometimes people are just hurt so severely that we're unable to save them. And that's just a tragedy, or they have permanent disability, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, where they'll never be the same. You know, and if you drive impaired, there's a good chance you're going to end up in an ambulance or a police car or in the back of the medical examiner's van. And none of those are a good outcome in any situation, but particularly the holidays. As the mayor alluded to, we're already going through a major crisis on Oahu and throughout the country with COVID, and why compound that with an accident over the holiday season, which is supposed to be a time spent in small groups with family and friends, and a time of celebration rather than a time of tragedy. So please don't drive impaired this holiday season. Get a designated driver, and we'll see you in 2021. We have a vaccine for COVID coming, and you know, good times are ahead. So let's just get through this holiday season safely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief Ireland. And next is Chaplain Vicki Metcalf.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Can you mute this?
On an August day in 2002, I woke up at 5 a.m. to a phone call. This wasn't really unusual for me at all because my dad often called me from California. He always forgot the time difference. But this time, it was the Arcadia Police Department. And to my horror, they told me my dad had been killed in a traffic collision that morning. A few hours later, we learned that at 6 a.m., my dad was on his way to meet his buddies at McDonald's like he did every single morning. But that particular morning, he was killed instantly by an impaired driver. To go through this type of pain and loss definitely motivates you to want to be a huge advocate for anyone and anywhere that needs help going through the same experience, and especially to prevent others from experiencing what you have. In my role as chaplain for the Coast Guard, my own experience is always fresh on my mind. I proactively do whatever I can to encourage planning ahead, rideshare, or designating a sober driver or sober living. Being an educator, I've also developed and teach life skills classes to our servicemen and women, classes that encourage participants to become stronger and to develop an anti-fragile ego to discover what it's really like to live life with a growth mindset. Using appreciative coaching, I try to meet all people where they are to be sure that they can live a life of purpose and planning with intention to always be safe and keep others safe. Influencing others in this way hopefully has a tremendous ripple effect that we will see for the next generation. I promise I'll always work proactively to be sure that my story doesn't become anyone else's story.
Thank you so much, Chaplain Ludwig, and we're sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing. Next is Michelle Saito, CEO and President of Dietrich Insurance, and she will share about Dietrich's efforts to curb drunk driving.
So thank you, Teresa. You know, Dietrich is really proud to support your Tie One On safety campaign for the 4th consecutive years. And as you said, very sadly, drunk driving is the cause of nearly half of all traffic deaths in Hawaii. Now, during the shutdown, we did see significantly fewer cars on the road and, of course, fewer collisions. I'm going to start calling them collisions. But what we didn't see was a corresponding decrease in the traffic fatalities. You know, by mid-November, we already had 72 fatalities. You know, traffic is starting to steadily pick up again. And of course, we are seeing an increase in auto collisions again. And we're walking into the holidays. So during the holidays, we need to be vigilant, as everybody has talked about. We should see smaller gatherings. We are only in tier 2. And of course, we hope that it stays within people's households, but celebrations will probably likely include alcohol. So we want to encourage people to drink responsibly. You know, as a side note, Dietrich continues to partner with Hawaii's top mixologists to provide really great recipes for really awesome non-alcoholic drinks. It's kind of an alternative for the designated drivers. You can get these recipes by going to our website. It's Dietrich, DTRIC.com/mocktails. So please help yourself to these recipes. This year, one of my favorites was, I think it was Delightful Sunrise, I think. But anyway, I just want to end by saying drunk driving kills. And it's, as everyone says, it's completely avoidable. So in the same way that we need to be responsible about stopping the spread of COVID, let's all work together to keep our roads safe. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. And we appreciate your support and Dietrich's support over the years. The reason we are all here today is to bring awareness, like all of you have stated, to the 100% preventable crime of drunk driving, and to one day totally put an end to it where there are no more victims. Lisa Hyatt is here today to share her very personal story of loss.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Teresa, for having me today. The holiday season is upon us, and it should be a time of joy, family, and friends. My name is Lisa Hyatt, and my dad, Dr. Eugene Chin, was killed while walking his dog by an impaired driver on a Sunday morning, September 30th, 2018. I will never forget that day as I heard the sirens pass my home, the phone ringing, the drive down the street to see the traffic backed up, and the road blocked with yellow police tape. My father was killed. My dad loved the holidays because he loved his family. And his family came first. He'd start planning the meal months ahead of time. He and I would shop on Black Friday for presents for my mom. They had just celebrated their 50th anniversary. When we were out for birthday dinners, he always made sure the Shirley Temples had extra cherries, and he'd give them to his grandkids. Once a month, he'd shuffle over on a Saturday morning with his tire gauge and air compressor to make sure our car was safe on the road. As a doctor, he saved many lives, so they could still be here with their family and friends for holidays and celebrations. But we will be here having our third Thanksgiving and our third Christmas without him. He has missed other accomplishments, with one grandson graduating high school and another graduating college. But he has made a strong imprint on us and is with us every day. This season, it is hard not to be sad for what we have lost, the people that aren't there, the stress of 2020. But my dad would want us to be thankful for the times we did have together, the meals we shared, the Star Wars movies we watched, and we were lucky to have those times. Let's make everyone safe this Thanksgiving and Christmas. No drinking and driving. Stop your friends when you see them drinking and ready to get in the car. Wear your masks, socially distance, and enjoy some Zoom meals. We all know that hindsight is 2020. Let's be able to look back on this year and be grateful for the blessings we do have so that we can celebrate all together in 2021. Remember to tie one on for safety. Mahalo.
Thank you for your heartfelt words, Lisa. It's heartbreaking, the loss and the devastation, and it took a lot of courage to share your story. In closing, I want to thank all the participants today for your meaningful words, for your dedication and commitment to safe roads and ocean ways in Hawaii. And by working together and sharing the message, if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. We will move closer to a future where there are no more victims of impaired driving. I'd like to tell you that there are 25,000 red ribbons that are available statewide at Napa Auto Parts, Aloha Island Mart, and Hawaii State Library. And just look for the red boxes, and there you'll find ribbons and a few decals and magnets. And MADD wishes everyone a safe and happy holiday season. Mahalo.
So with that, this is Scott Ishikawa from Becker Communications. And again, I want to thank everyone for being part of this important event. Personally, I got a little emotional listening to everyone's words today. So thank you for coming. Well, I know we have a couple of TV folks online if they want to ask any questions to any of our guests. I know they said a lot of, they made a lot of great statements as it is, but if anybody has any questions from the two media that are on right now. Okay, if not, I'm gonna hand it back to Teresa. I think, Teresa, you're gonna just show a video, one more video, I think, of that ribbon tying. I think we put together a compilation of all the different first responders.
Scott, I'm hoping Will do that.
Aloha, this is a holiday season. Let's make this the safest one yet. If you drink, don't drive. Use a designated driver, rideshare, or taxi. Be a hero, save a life. And remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and no large gatherings. Let's tie one on for safety this year.
Aloha, everybody. Let's join the Honolulu Fire Department's Ohana, tie one on for safety.
What is the address of your emergency?
This is Dr. James Ireland, Chief of EMS. Join Honolulu's paramedics and EMTs and tie on a ribbon in the fight to save lives.
Hi, my name is Lisa Hyatt.
And I'm Suzanne Chin from Wailua.
My dad, Dr. Eugene Chin, was killed by an impaired driver while walking his dog Lily. Please join us and MADD as we tie one on for safety.
I'm Teresa Paulette, MADD's Victim Services Specialist.
And I'm Kathy Weldon, Chair of the Advisory Board of Mothers Against Drunk Driving for Hawaii. Please join us and MADD as we tie one on for safety.
That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for providing the videos. Very, very heartfelt. Back to Scott and Will. Are there questions or anything from the media for any of us?
Yeah, the media got back to us, and yeah, there's no questions. So I think all of you had really compelling statements to make today. We want to thank all of you for being part of this. It's different this year with the virtual version of this, but I think it went, rather smoothly, and we appreciate everyone's effort. We wish everybody a happy and safe holidays, going into 2021.
Thank you so much to Dietrich and Becker as well.
No,
Okay.
and thank you everyone for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Aloha,
you,
everybody. Be safe.
Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We'll send out the links. Okay. Aloha.